Oh, won't you come in? We were just about to have some cheese. Let's get that kettle on.
Excellent! Say what again?
Wensleydale.
Wallace and Gromit are two British stop-motion characters created by Nick Park and Aardman Animations. Wallace is an eccentric inventor and Gromit is his dog. Both are extremely intelligent, although Wallace is a little more bumbling, and together they go on various adventures in the northern English countryside. I want to take a look back at their three original short films: A Grand Day Out, The Wrong Trousers, and A Close Shave. So far, on Joe's Drive-In, I've done 3 videos to sort of lay the groundwork for what the series represents. The Wizard of Oz was intended to look back at a classic we've all seen before and remember why we still talk about it. Air Bud was to show that sometimes even the goofiest ideas can be hidden gems. And Willy Wonka was used to illustrate that I view these movies as they are, rather than factoring the source material. However, today I'll be looking at something a lot more fun and a lot less deep. With that being said, let's take a look back at Wallace and Gromit. The original short, A Grand Day Out, was released in 1989. The short has Wallace and Gromit facing a dire emergency, running out of cheese for their crackers.
No cheese, Gromit.
This is important, as Wallace loves cheese.
Cheese. Cheese. Cheese. Cheese. Cheese. Cheese.
Naturally, knowing the moon's made of cheese, they build a rocket to go straight to the source. While there, they encounter a coin-operated robot that seems like the moon's protector or something. It's not super clear. Either way, it's not too happy to have visitors, but wishes to go back to Earth with them and hit the ski slopes. The short is as surreal as it sounds, but we'll find that's pretty on brand for Wallace and Gromit.
No crackers, Gromit. We've forgotten the crackers.
As the first of the original short films, the animation is a little rough around the edges, with Wallace in particular looking slightly off-model from what he would soon become. Despite the duo's first story being an outer space adventure, it's very low-key and simplistic. A Grand Day Out has a very independent feel, which is fitting as it actually started out as one of Nick Park's student projects, becoming part of Aardman Animations during production. That being said, it's still a solid short. Wallace is the only character with dialogue, but the animation allows you to tell what Gromit and the robot are thinking through only motions and facial expressions. The humor is also very low-key, but it's still present in some pretty solid visual gags. The Wrong Trousers was released in 1993, and if you thought the first one was weird, then you better strap in for this one. It's Gromit's birthday, and Wallace doesn't seem too invested. He barely acknowledges it, and his big gift isn't exactly great. The gift in question is a pair of self-walking automatic trousers with the purpose of taking Gromit for walks. Gromit can build a rocket ship and make his own breakfast, so I'm not sure why he needs to go on walks, but that's another conversation. Meanwhile, Wallace struggles with finances and decides to rent out the guest room to, of all things, a penguin.
I'm asking 20 a week. That will include your breakfast. I suppose you like kippers, do.
The penguin gradually steals Gromit's spotlight, pushing him out of the house and becoming the center of Wallace's attention. However, in a shocking twist, the penguin is revealed to be a chicken? Or rather, the penguin is actually Feathers McGraw, a jewel thief that disguises himself as a chicken.
Good grief, it's you!
He plans to use the trousers to commit a heist, potentially framing Wallace as well. Gromit catches on to the plan, and the duo reunites to apprehend the thief, chasing him down on model trains. This is definitely my favorite of the 3 shorts. The animation is a huge step above A Grand Day Out, and scenes like the ending chase are really impressive and satisfying to watch. The humor is also greatly improved with very creative jokes and is more in line with the style Aardman is known for today. Feathers McGraw is great. His staring in complete silence is unsettling enough for you to know something's wrong, but it's hilarious because he's a penguin. The Wrong Trousers is a great short and embodies everything the Wallace and Gromit franchise has to offer.
Well, that went as well as could be expected, didn't it? Hmm?
Released in 1995, A Close Shave is the final of the original Wallace and Gromit trilogy. It's also the darkest. In this one, Wallace and Gromit run a window cleaning service. At the same time, there are ongoing cases of sheep rustling at the local farms.
I see they still haven't caught those sheep rustlers yet. Still, you've got plenty of wool.
When Wallace falls for a client, a shopkeeper named Wendeline, things take a turn for the worse. Gromit ends up getting framed for the rustling and is sent to prison, while Wallace's home ends up overrun by the sheep. It turns out that Wendeline is the real culprit. But not really. It's actually her dog, Preston, stealing sheep and killing them in order to make dog food. When Wendeline finally has enough, he plans to kill her too, leaving Wallace and Gromit to save the day. When Preston is shoved into Wallace's shaving machine, he's revealed to be a Terminator-like robot before being defeated by a sweater. It all ends with Wallace finally confessing his feelings to Wendeline, but to his horror she reveals that she's allergic to cheese.
Oh, won't you come in? We were just about to have some cheese.
Oh no, not cheese. Sorry, it brings me out in a rash. Can't stand the stuff.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
Wallace isn't having any of that, so he returns to the single life.
All the more for us.
This short is absolutely wild, but believe me, it's well worth checking out. Again, the animation is still impressive to this day, with a highlight being Gromit flying high above the town. And while we got a taste of it in The Wrong Trousers, we really get to see a lot of Wallace's inventions in this short, which adds a lot of creative flair.
Not a sheep to worry us. Get off me cheese!
All three shorts are great to watch. The world of Wallace and Gromit is wacky and fun, yet laid back and subtle. Wallace is just a guy that wants to relax at home with his dog and eat cheese, but the two of them just keep getting caught up in these horrific situations involving robbers, murderers, and monsters. Every short starts out normal and mundane, but quickly goes off the rails. It's this perfect mix of wholesome and dark that just mixes together so well. Each film is filled with so much imagination and absurd humor that you can't help but love them. I watched all three shorts as a kid on this triple pack of VHS tapes, the very same tapes I used for this video, and I had a lot of fun revisiting them. I definitely liked the shorts as a kid, but I think it's safe to say that I appreciate Wallace and Gromit more now than I did back then. Wallace and Gromit have achieved a ton of success over the years. They starred in their first feature film, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, to critical and commercial acclaim in 2005, grossing almost $200 million on a budget of $30 million. They also got a fourth short in 2008 and had 2 limited TV series as well. Shaun the Sheep, who appeared in A Close Shave, also got spun off into his own TV series and 2 feature films that also saw critical and commercial success. All Wallace and Gromit media has been largely successful, making them pop culture icons and arguably the most famous British animated characters of all time. Their success is almost unrealistic considering they really don't have much media. The original 3 shorts we looked at today all have a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with all other Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep media being rated 90% or higher. Outside of the movie and TV screens, Wallace has a strong online presence as a meme, keeping him in the public eye.
Stop window. Oh, won't you come in? We were just about to have some cheese.
The future also seems bright for the duo, as they supposedly have a second feature releasing next year in 2024. With all of this, it's strange to me that nobody I've ever talked to seems to know who they are, and I've never once heard anybody talk about them. I know that they're British characters, but if Doctor Who can be a widely popular franchise here in the States, there's gotta be some more love for Wallace and Gromit out there. If you haven't seen these short films, or any of their media for that matter, I can't recommend them enough. So, put on some tea, grab some crackers and cheese, and check out some Wallace and Gromit.
All's well that ends well, that's what I say.
Join me next time as I make the worst possible decision and take a look at a movie that'll certainly cancel me before my career even starts.